Forensic requirements for responding to information security incidents. When we do a forensic investigation, we want to make sure that evidence is admissible in court. A true and correct copy of the hard drive. We only do examinations on copies. We never touch originals. Anytime we touch original evidence, we are possibly modifying it, changing it, making it inadmissible. It has to be quality. It has to be true and correct. A bit copy secured by a CRC or hash value to show it is a true and correct copy. The evidence needs to be complete. It needs to be unimpeachable. It has to be accurate. And the most important part, a critical part, the chain of custody must be maintained. If the chain of custody for any reason is broken, the evidence is generally going to be inadmissible. When I look at some of the big cases through the years, the chain of custody was one of the deciding factors. O.J. Simpson, it had nothing to do with Mark Furman. It had nothing to do with the glove not fitting so that you had to acquit. It had to do with the jury seeing that blood evidence was in the trunk of the cruiser overnight, locked into Furman's police cruiser overnight. In the morning, he drove home, left it in the trunk, went in, went to bed, did everything else he was supposed to do that night, I assume. Next morning, came out, drove down to police lab, dropped off the evidence. On the surface, sounds like Furman screwed up real bad. Reality, it wasn't him. That was the policy of the LAPD crime lab, that the detective in charge would take custody of the evidence and would leave it secured in their cruiser overnight, locked in the trunk. They felt that was sufficient. The jury did not, which caused the primary evidence in the case to be thrown out. There was no way he could be convicted without the primary evidence, and so the trial actually went the way it should, and O.J. was not found to be guilty. The problem was with the crime lab and their policy. They did not have a policy that preserved a proper chain of custody. Since that case, they have changed their policy. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m., bring it down.